We're talking about training regimen, and when you're training horses, there is no holiday, there is no weekends off, there is no you don't leave on Friday afternoon and lock your office and come back on Monday morning. It just doesn't work that way. These are living, breathing animals, and they need to train 7 days a week. So we all try and take a day off. My help gets a day off. Everybody gets a day off. But as far as training regimen goes, it's a day's training regimen. You can multiply it by 365 days, and you have a year's training regimen. A day is a week, is a month. It's all the same thing. But the key to training racehorses is that you have to come to the realization that horses are like children. 2-year-olds are like 6th, 7th, 8th graders. 3-year-olds are like 9th through 12th grade, high schoolers. And 4-year-olds and up are college and graduate and postgraduates. So if you understand that, you understand that when you train a 2-year-old, you train them like you're training a football prospect in 6th or 7th grade. If his ankle hurts him, you don't send him to the team doctor and inject it with cortisone. You send him home to his mother and you put him in a tub of ice, and you take as long as it takes to fix that problem. If his elbow hurts, if his arm hurts, if his shins hurt, you're not going to take a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or an 11 or 12-year-old just to get him back in the game. You're not going to take him and give him an injection of something to get him back in the game. His bones are developing. You have to treat your young horses like they're elementary school kids. So training a young horse, you have to understand that they're all individuals and they all have their own mindset. And you begin to learn, like each year, I'll get 40 to 50 2-year-olds, which are my elementary school guys. And some of them are cooperative. And just like elementary school guys, some of them aren't. And if you ever walked into, I always say 6th grade, you walk into a 6th grade classroom, the boys are screwing around and the girls are all very attentive and watching everything you say. I'll go to my kids' school once in a while and I'll give a talk to a bunch of 6th graders, and the boys are picking their nose and staring out the window and throwing spitballs, and the girls are listening to every word I say because they think it's cool. And that's what it's like with horses. Most of the time, the fillies are very cooperative and they're very attentive and they're very studious, and the boys can be a real pain in the butt and they can be doing their own thing. And horses learn things over repetition. Horses, you don't tell a horse to do something like you tell your Labrador Retriever, get that ball, and they bring it back. Come here, come here, come here. Horses learn things by repetition over and over and over again. They learn to turn left because you keep turning them left. They learn to turn right because you keep turning them right. They learn to pick up their legs because you keep picking up their legs. But if you don't do it, they're not going to learn those things. So these are my elementary school kids. And we look at those horses outside every single day after we get done training them because we want to see a problem when it's this big. I want to see an ankle when it's just starting to hurt a horse. I want to see a knee when it's just starting to carry fluid. And I'm going to take that elementary school kid, my 2-year-old, and I'm going to stop on him. I'm going to send him back to the farm. I'm going to walk him for a week. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to fix that problem while it's this big. Because if you don't fix that problem at this big, you're going to have a problem that's this big. Because horses can't talk to you. And if a horse is hurting in the front left leg, and you don't stop him, he's going to start hurting in the hind right leg, the diagonal. And then he's going to start hurting in the front right leg. And then he's going to start hurting in the other diagonal in the hind left leg. And before you know it, you're going to have a screwed up 2-year-old that needs 6 months off, or he's going to break something. So the key to young horses is to teach them by repetition, to get them over their vices. They acquire many vices over the years. You know, remember, they're put in a stall. They get different riders on them. They get vices. They become phobic about the gate. They become phobic about the paddock. They don't like to see horses running at them. They don't like to see horses running up behind them. Remember, they have a full field of vision, every horse. A horse that's looking forward can see absolutely what's going on behind them. So that's where blinkers come in. You know, you horses will see what's going on, and sometimes you get a horse that's watching the rider. The rider moves his hand. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to get hit," you know, and they'll scoot this way, duck in, duck out. So you really need to be patient and kind. And let's face it, teachers are patient and kind to elementary school kids. As kids get older, you can become a little less patient and a little less kind, because if they haven't learned it by the time they're in high school, they're heading in the wrong direction. They're heading towards being a bad kid. But when kids are young, we want to be very patient and very kind, and we want to teach them properly, and we want to take care of their bodies properly. No medication. We want to give them time to heal anything that ails them, and when we train them, we want to train them accordingly. We want to make them face their phobias over and over and over again until it becomes a thing of the past. We want them to face their vices over and over and over again until it becomes a thing of the past. So it's so important to have a very good rider on them, very good handlers on them in the stalls. Make sure everybody's kind. We kill them with kindness, and we try and develop them into a racehorse. At some point, they're going to take that next step into high school, and those are your 2-year-olds in the latter part of their career, of their 2-year-old career, that are getting ready to run, and they get to the races. Some are much quicker at it than others. Some will get there really quick, and those horses are running at Saratoga, or they're running at Belmont in June or July or August. But those horses you tend to see a few times, and then you don't see them anymore. You know, it's all about keeping them healthy and addressing their problems. We need to address their problems, their phobias, their vices. So every day, I mean, rule of thumb, we want them to gallop a mile, maybe 2 miles every day, whatever we think they can handle. As far as training goes, breezing goes, we want them to breeze on the level that they're ready for. I want to see a horse get just to the point of fatigue and then back off them. And then the next time, a little closer to that point of fatigue, and then back off them. And each time they go a little further and a little further. Like my 2-year-olds, they'll start breezing a 1/4 mile, gallop out 3 furlongs. Well, we don't run a 1/4 mile. We don't run 3 furlongs. So the next series of works, every 5 to 10 days, will be 3 furlongs, gallop out a 1/2 mile. Then we get through a bunch of 1/2 mile works. They gallop out 5/8 of a mile. And by gallop out, we'll go a 1/2 mile, a serious 1/2 mile, and I'll tell my riders, let them go out 5 furlongs if they want to. And remarkably, after a couple of 1/2 miles, they'll still keep going. They'll tell you, boss, I'm ready to go 5/8. Then we go a few 5/8, and when they start doing it correct, and all their vices are behind them, and their gate work is behind them, all the time that we're training them, we're taking them to the starting gate in between workout days, and we're teaching them the starting gate. Some learn in 10 trips to the starting gate. Some take forever. Some horses become real claustrophobic. They'll fight you at the gate. And those horses you have to back off of, and you have to take them on their terms. We want horses to think they're winning, but honestly, we're winning. We're just faking them out and making them think that they're winning. We train horses to keep the horse happy and keep the horse in the game. Because when a horse gets sour, think about this. When you have a 1,200-pound horse, if you allow him to figure out that he doesn't have to go if he doesn't want to, the horse wins the battle against the human every time when it's a physical battle. If he wants to, I cannot make a horse go if he doesn't want to, but I can outthink him, and I can find a way to make him go, and he can think that he won the battle, but in effect, I win the war. And that's the way it is. It's a psychological war at times with certain horses, but we need the horse to come away thinking that he won, and we need the human to realize that in the end that we actually figured out a way to get that horse there, and we won that battle. So when all of the things fall into place, the workouts, the horse isn't getting tired anymore, the fatigue isn't there, that his health is 100%, he's doing really well, The gate work is done. He's springing out of that gate. It's time to run that 2-year-old and find out what you got. And when you run that 2-year-old, it's like proud parent day. It's like graduation ceremony at high school. When you watch that student go walk across that stage and get that diploma, and you made that happen, that is graduation day. That is the greatest feeling a trainer can have. And you know, you're running a race with 10 2-year-olds. You might finish 10th, but if it was a positive experience and the horse moved forward, you might have just got beat by 9 better horses. But either way, your horse graduated from student to athlete, and your horse made that transition to athlete. And that to me is graduation day. And I mean, I have some 2-year-olds now. I mean, we're talking today's Belmont Stakes Day, 2015, it's June. I have a couple of 2-year-olds that are ready to run now. And as long as they don't have any little problems or anything that's going to stop them, I'll get them to the races soon. And I have 2-year-olds that are just going a half a mile, and I have 2-year-olds that are just going 3 furlongs. And all of that is going to culminate with graduation day for that horse eventually. And the only thing that'll stop that from happening is injury. And hopefully I'm a sharp enough trainer to not let that happen.